and share alike. And coming to you again with a new software, just trying to explore the different options available and still trying to figure out the fine tuning before we get there. But here we are. And today we're going to be talking business, and I'm joined by Stuart Hunter from Stuart Hunter Business Consulting. So welcome to you, Stuart, and thank you so much for taking out the time to join us this morning.
Pleasure. Nice to be with you, Megan.
Awesome. Yeah, Stuart and I go back in the day when we used to work in the coatings industry together. But we'll unfold that in his not extensive. He's given himself not much credit, but he's kind of bullet pointed his history. But you'll see by some of the positions held. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to what you have to share with us regarding mentorship as our topic today.
Pleasure.
So let me just do a quick intro to Stuart, and then we'll go into our 5 questions for today. So Stuart started working back in 1982. I won't tell him that was the year I was born. But his experience spans through manufacturing, retail, and distribution. His early experience included being in sales management, marketing management, and in abrasive and engineering supply fields. In his later years, he then moved up and went into more the general management, sales directorships, and MD positions in the coatings and related product industries. And currently, Stuart has a coatings distribution business and has his business consulting business as well. He also is a mentor for the Black Umbrellas program. Maybe you want to just tell us a little bit about that, if you.
Sure. Thanks. Yeah. So morning, everybody. Nice to be with you this morning from Cape Town. Nice down here in Cape Town this morning. Really nice day. The Black Umbrellas program is a black. It's called Black Umbrellas. It's a bunch of entrepreneurs, black entrepreneurs who are in business, and you can go and click on the Black Umbrellas website. They have quite a nice website, comprehensive website, and it's really for people who want to support black entrepreneurs. Who are trying to get their businesses off the ground, trying to understand what they need to do and, how business works. So you can, as I say, you go on there, you post your experience and knowledge and where it is you think that you can help them. And obviously, if they're happy with all that, they make you a mentor. And then you'll end up working with 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 black entrepreneurs, and helping them with whatever their business is, and the process, in terms of trying to take it from step A to B, and that's pretty much it. It's a non-profit organization, so it's all done, free of charge, and really just trying to upskill black entrepreneurs that we have in this country.
Sure, that's a fantastic initiative. Definitely something I'm going to go and check out. So Black Umbrellas program for those that are interested too. So then let's go straight into our questions for today. And obviously, we always like to start out with a bit about yourself and how your consulting business came to be.
Okay, thanks, Megan. Yeah, look, I mean, as you've said, I've been in the business field for quite a while. Started off as a general salesman, running around the countryside selling products. Obviously, did some studying and ended up, with different management positions. I guess sort of as COVID came along, I kind of got tired of, before that I got tired of the corporate environment and everything that goes around that. And then I was sort of in a semi-corporate environment, doing some, kind of consulting in that area as well. But, during COVID and when COVID kind of hit, I decided, that was it. I wanted to get out of all of that stuff and really just wanted to concentrate on what I wanted to do. And I think that's important, maybe that's the first lesson is, don't wait until you're my age to decide that you're actually going to do what you want to do in life. Do it earlier. So, we've always had this little specialist coatings business, which we continue to run. That's more specialist coatings, as I've said. But at the same time, my passion has always been teaching and mentoring and helping people learn and just understand what their potential is, because I think sometimes, like has happened to me, people don't understand what their potential is. People don't recognize their potential in themselves. And sometimes it takes somebody to show them what their potential can be and mentor them and show them, and say, take their hand and move them along and say to them, listen, you can do this, and help them do it. So I think that is my passion. It has been for a long time, which is just really, mentoring people, obviously doing the business consulting that goes along with it, and just helping people get where they want to be. And that's where I am at this point in time, Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. And from where you've been, from the bottom to the top, such a nice scope as well to share. And glad that you said that, it doesn't have to take you 40 years to know exactly what it is you want to do as well. Sometimes we need to dive deep and be bold and brave and, have someone to help us. Let's talk a little bit about that, because I kind of, in our questions, preambling up to this, we spoke about the questions, and I said, mentorship, something that's obviously been in existence since 1700s, but really came about in the 1900s. But for some reason, just surfacing more and more in the world we are living in today. And I just wanted to find out from you, what in your words is mentorship? I mean, I know we can Google and we can obviously find out too, but let's just start with, what is your description or definition of mentorship?
I think that, and I think, if you go and Google, and obviously, and just want to make a definition, I mean, mentorship and coaching are quite different. And people might say, well, it's the same thing, and it's not. And I just want to, obviously, coaching, you end up, generally you end up with a group or an individual of people where you look at their skills and you enhance their productivity to overcome perhaps a performance issue that the individual or a group may have. And that's really the coaching side of things. Mentorship is more, it's generally with an individual. You never have it with a group. Where you take your, the knowledge that you've gained over the years, and you go and you take that person's hand and you take them down the path, and you say to them, look, this is the knowledge that I have, whether that's product knowledge or sales knowledge or marketing knowledge or life knowledge, whatever it might be, that is relevant to that particular person or where they are at a person at a time in their life. And you take them, you hold their hand, as it were, and you take them through a process which says, look, this is the way I think it should be. This is what you need to do. But of course, obviously, the person needs to be happy to do that, and needs to be, open to those kind of suggestions and willing to do that. Because it's the one thing that I found, in the consultancy business as well, is that most people and businesses, and I say most, generally, believe that they don't need help. People, and it's maybe it's a South African thing, I'm not sure, but it's, people think, no, I don't need help. I've got to this position, or I'm at this position in my life where I have this position now within a company, and so I don't need help. Even though they may deep down know that they do need help, they kind of see it as a weakness to say, listen, yes, I need help, and can you help me with whatever it might be? So I think sometimes, in being the mentor, you need to break through those barriers in terms of saying to the individual, come along, and you can't just walk in and say, look, this is what I want to do. It has to be a process where the person feels comfortable with who you are, and eventually ends up opening up to you, and is willing to work with you. So I think, for me, that's what a mentor is about this person who, really just takes somebody's hand and shows them what they can be.
Awesome. I like that. And I'm glad that you also distinguished the difference between a mentor and a coach, because I think that's very valid to share that. So let's talk about the reasons why mentorship is so important, maybe a few of those things. And then also possibly let's talk a little bit about who needs a mentorship. I mean, mentor, I guess anyone is really, anyone can really have a mentor, but let's talk a little bit about, why do you believe mentorship is so important, and who requires mentorship?
Well, again, I think that mentorship is, everybody needs it, and when I say everybody needs it, again, most people will say they don't need it. But, I mean, there's a group of mates that I'm not part of the group, who for the last 20 years have I think there's 4 or 5 of them that have met, every kind of 6 weeks to 2 months, and just sat around a table and spoken about one another's businesses, and have kind of been mentors to one another in terms of saying, well, look, this is what I'm doing and this is how I'm doing it, and had that input from one another. So everybody needs it, whether you're a salesperson or an MD, or a marketing person, or your daughter, your son. I mean, my wife and my children keep mentoring me. They think I need mentoring, and I'll obviously say to them, no, I don't. But they teach me, many things, as we all know, and of course, but as you know as well, I mean, those of you who have had teenage children, there's nothing that you can teach them. Until such time that they realize that actually maybe my father did know what he was talking about. So everybody needs mentorship. It's just about whether they realize it and at what time in their life that they realize it. And I think mentorship is there, it's to give guidance. It's to build somebody's confidence who perhaps doesn't have that confidence that you see they need. It's to instill the values of an organization or of a situation or a company. It's to show what the tradition might have been, in the company, or how you go along and how you do different things. And sometimes, and a lot of the time, it's the confirmation, that they're perhaps doing the right thing, or that they're not doing the right thing, and that they need to change something that they're doing. So mentorship is important, from all those points of view. And when you are, when you're a young guy or a young girl or somebody who's looking towards somebody who you perhaps look up to, and they take you under their wing, the last thing you want to do is to then challenge them. Of course, you must sit down and you must discuss and tell them your feelings and what you think about the situation, but don't be defensive. Listen, I mean, I've had a few mentors in my life, and they've come about not because I've asked them to necessarily be my mentor. They've just, kind of been there when the time is right. And sometimes, when the time is right, that's when people will arrive. And, I've had a mentor in the coatings business that we worked in. And it wasn't, for me saying, can you be my mentor now? They just, decided that the time was right and they mentored me. And as a younger sales manager person, and this wasn't just, I mean, a lot of it was my work career, but a lot of it was my personal life as well. And it was somebody who I looked up to, and for whatever the reason was, an older person, and I'd sit down with him and just chew the cud, as it were, and try and understand what he thought about me and where I was going and what I was thinking, and and where I was in my life, and then give me advice, and ultimately, though, at the end of the day, the advice that's given is really up to you to use it or not use it. There's an old saying, which is, treat everything as a reasonable hypothesis until you can either prove it or disprove it. So, while you when somebody says something, don't just kick it out. Take it, listen to it, see what it's about, understand it, and then use it or don't use it. But everybody needs a mentor, and it's really there, to affirm all of those, as I said, guidance, values, traditions, building your own confidence. And somebody taking you along and saying, look, this is how it's done. But generally speaking, when the student is ready, the teacher will arrive.
Agreed. And I think actually sometimes it's a bit of a subconscious mentor. Subconsciously we have identified a mentor, but we haven't recognized that they are a mentor, but we know that they are. And then of course there is the recognized mentor, but it's also to say, it doesn't mean that because you have a mentor that you're not capable or can't do it. I actually think, like you said, to enhance your confidence and to actually take control, go look for a mentor. Why not? People, I can always say, there's always help available out there. Why try and do it on your own? If you feel one needs the advice or guidance, go and get the help. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, as I said earlier, though, that people generally think that by looking for advice and asking for advice, they're showing a weakness. It's not. In fact, it's a strength. It's a strength to say, listen, can you help me with this? I need to understand this, or I need guidance in my life for this. In terms of this or that. It's a strength. It's not a weakness. And more people need to see it that way. And whether that's business consulting or trying to come up with a new vision or mission for your business or a new strategy. You're a young marketing manager and they stick you in the job and say, devise a strategy for this product, and off you go. But instead of saying, listen, that's fine, I will, but I need advice on this, they people will just dive in and sometimes don't get the right result because they've been too scared to ask for help.
That's it. Don't be scared to ask for help.
Never.
So let's look at our top tips. We always like to share some top tips from our experts that join us. So let's talk about 3 top tips or advice that you can share to help entrepreneurs or business owners or wherever you are at in your career to also find the right mentor. Because perhaps somebody feels that they may need a mentor or not sure they need a mentor, or then how do they find the right mentor? So maybe you've just got some guidance there as to where would you start, or what are your top tips with that?
I think certainly, you want to find somebody who wants to teach and impart their knowledge, without looking for, favor or something in return for it. And people who are not scared to, impart with their knowledge, because as we know, in a corporate environment, many times people who are your boss will be scared to, give you the knowledge that they have because they think you're going to take over, which is a crazy thing.
Oh, yeah, that's corporate,
I've always
right?
felt, I've always felt the more you can get other people to do, the better, you can go play golf then. Somebody who wants to teach, and somebody who wants to impart their knowledge, and you will find them, you will find people who are happy to sit down and help you, as opposed to people who are not. And those are personality types, people who want to teach, people who want to impart their knowledge versus those who aren't. Those are too busy to do it. So, find somebody who wants to teach and impart their knowledge, and without favor, without wanting anything back other than just to see, an individual grow. And take on what their opportunities and what their potential is. I think that's important. I think somebody who has your best interests at heart, maybe it kind of fits in with the previous one, but somebody who really looks at you and says, I want to mentor you because I have your best interest at heart. I want to see you grow. I want to see you succeed. I want to see that you make a great contribution to this company, to this department, to your life, to your family, to your children, to whoever it might be. Somebody who looks at you and says, you have potential to do whatever, or I need to work with you because you've got so much to offer, and really just somebody who has your best interests at heart. And then I think thirdly, and maybe ideally, is somebody who has, pick somebody with the correct subject matter experience. So, if you're looking for somebody to teach you about, I don't know, how to fix a drain, and they've never done that, well, that's probably going to be the wrong person to talk to. So whether it's life experience you're looking for, whether it's marriage guidance you're looking for, whether it's marketing experience or management experience or HR experience or sales experience, it doesn't matter. Obviously, ideally, you want to have somebody who's been through that and who's done all that kind of stuff, who can talk to you with some kind of knowledge and confidence about what they're doing. As I said, when I started my career, I was a salesman. I've walked the streets and driven, to every part of this country selling stuff. So there's not too many salespeople who could ever pull the wool over my eyes about, what it was that was happening. I know all the tricks about the cars and what happens and et cetera, et cetera. But it's because I've done that you're able to help those kind of people who are looking for that help.
Yeah, I think that should be. Let's recap those. So definitely someone who wants to instill their experience, or as also impart their knowledge or experience with you. I think that's important because then you know that they're serious about what they want to do. Yeah. They definitely have your interests at heart, so they should guide you as well. Yes. And then lastly, definitely someone who is possibly an expert on the subject matter, totally, because then they should instill their experiences that they've had with you to help fast track your mistakes or whatever it is that you're in. Yeah. Love those. Thank you for those top tips. And I think that's important when also wanting to say, okay, should I, shouldn't I? So lastly, and our fifth and final question is, share with us, do you have a mentor? And if so, in what areas or area do you have a mentor?
So currently, no, not particularly. Nobody in particular that I'm talking to right now about stuff. However, having said that, I mean, I do have friends that I talk to. Whether it's on the golf course, and I'll say, listen, this is what's happening, and this is what's going down. What do you think? And again, that's important. And it's not. So I don't sit down with one particular person. At this point in time in my life, and bounce stuff off with. Obviously, my wife I discuss stuff with every now and again.
Yeah, sure.
But she may not understand some of the stuff that I'm dealing with or going through, but I'll bounce that off with friends of mine, whether it's business, or and say, listen, this is what I think, or can we meet for coffee and let's talk about that. So again, I'm not shy to do that, and I'm lucky to have a group of friends who feel the same way. Where we'll phone one up and just say, listen, let's meet for coffee. Let's just catch up with where we are, in our lives. But so through my life, I've had probably 3 or 4 mentors that I can, say I've, whether that's from a personal point of view, from a business point of view, that have really played an important role in developing me and guiding me and forging me, if you like, into the person that I am today. So I think it's important to have mentors. And as I said, right now, nobody in particular, but I do talk to friends all the time, about what's going on and just getting their feedback on what they think. It's important. I want people to tell me what they think.
Good. I'm glad that you said that, because it doesn't matter how many years experience we have behind us. At any point in time in our life, we have that saying of, I learned something new today. Well, guess what? That's what we can continue to do. It doesn't matter how old we are. And as you mentioned earlier, never be too scared to ask for help.
Correct.
I think that's a very clear thing. And also just recognizing maybe where you need a bit of help, because sometimes, like I can tell you, like I'm not very good at technical, so maybe I need some assistance on the technical side, and perhaps you need some help on your writing or your selling, whatever it may be. Go and get someone that can guide you and help you to get there quicker.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks, Stuart. This has been really good, and I really appreciate you sharing with us on this Friendly Friday from your vast amount of experience that you have to share and will continue to share and mentor both business owners or, as you've mentioned, businesses themselves to help them improve, not only on their sales journey, but just in general to recognize their strengths to help them.
Great.
So thanks so much everybody for watching. Whether you're watching on YouTube, please do subscribe. We bring great content on a weekly basis, or leave a comment below. Tell us if you have a mentor, and if so, not necessarily who's your mentor if you don't want to tell us, but what are you being mentored on? And then we will be back next week talking about entrepreneurial journey, hopefully at about 11 o'clock if our technology goes along, and obviously if there's no load shedding. But until next week, Friday, have a super day, happy Friday, and of course, happy weekend.
Thanks you for the opportunity, Megan. It's been nice sharing my thoughts with you.
Thanks, Stuart. We appreciate it.
Okay. Good. Thanks, everybody. Cheers.
Bye.